Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome. Casual Boots here with two amazing runners. This is game 2 of their series in the Casual Boots Tournament of Link to the Past Randomizer. We have Thalane versus jmeasher, or Joe. In this case, we have Shy Guy versus Toad, and hopefully in this case, Thalane is looking to close this one out in his best of 3 series because he is up 1-0 in this particular case. I think Fire Rod, for Thalane was probably his best friend in game 1. But jmeasher is definitely looking to secure a win so he can force a game 3. Should be a really exciting match between these two. I'm Claire Mouse. Joined with me is probably one of the most prolific and well-known casual boost runners in the entire world for this game, Jem. How's it going? Are you ready to watch Thalane and jmeasher?
I'm ready to watch, in fact, both of them. It's gonna be exciting.
Yes. All right. Well, we already have actually starting out with Uncle. He is giving us a hint. Apparently, hints are still enabled in standard casual boots, in that he's telling us the magic bear, the cape, will actually get us through the magic bear. Do you think it's gonna be an Agassi?
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, he wouldn't give us a hint, right?
Exactly. Yes.
They wouldn't make Uncle give us useless hints. That just doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah. You know the best hint that I've always seen from Uncle is I think it was in Ambrosia or something, when Uncle used to give you the boots hint, and the best one was Link or Lonk, the boots are on your feet or something, and that was like the best one ever. Or something. It was like in our house, like so that just means you got you got boots from the get go, and then it was basically casual boots, right? Because I think Ambrosia you started with a sword, is that right? I guess it's been a while.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, yeah, so.
Yeah, I definitely started with a sword. So yeah. It's quite literally casual boost, right? Because when you go to the Chastening's house, you don't dash yet, you just walk diagonal. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And jmeasher, of course, in Link's house, already just confirming that we do have boots. It is something that maybe people may or may not remember from just being able to start with boots all the time, but we did see a little bit of boots dust before that chest. It was only 20 rupees, but it's especially I've seen when people maybe play with pseudo boots or in some maybe mystery tournaments, you may not necessarily remember that you have pseudo boots or some ability to dash. So it's always a really good reminder to just to test out the A button just in case you got to start with boots.
Yeah, you just can't use the A button enough, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. I very wholeheartedly
every time you press the A button, it makes you happy, right? So
yes, it does. Actually, the A and the B button together in casual boots is actually quite good. We are actually seeing this case looks like actually both Thalane and jmeasher getting through. Yeah, escape. I mean, a very pretty solid execution so far. So Thalane, of course, and I believe also jmeasher has been around the community for quite some time. I think these guys are very, very familiar with, well, pretty much any aspect about this game. Standard, start, included, especially with that sword. Super, super familiar and comfortable. Except, I guess, experience still doesn't, counter, I guess, like enemy RNG, and that the green guard still wants, some jmeasher's attention.
Yeah. Screw up, green guard. Looks like Thalane did a map check, so he used to be behind a bit, like around 3 seconds going into escape. But looks like now, through execution and I guess also better enemy RNG, he has already caught up. And now they're pretty much synced.
Ah, yes. Thalane using a map check in escape. Does he not want to go for the sub 5? I mean, it is a hallmark. I believe it wasn't him, you, and Ari who did like a 10x escape or something like that. Did he do a map check in any of those, out of curiosity?
Probably not. Otherwise, I would feel really bad about him beating my time.
Oh, okay.
As often as he did.
That's fair. You know what? We're gonna pretend he did another map check because he ended up kind of walking on that wall. It's okay. Just very minor things here and there, but it's definitely part of, I guess, the experience. And plus, one thing I do actually kind of enjoy, especially maybe from just from a race perspective, casual boots, especially you do the standard escape, you do get roughly 5 minutes worth of your time to just kind of settle in, relax. Even if you bonk here or there, or maybe get a little bullied by enemy RNG, or maybe you're just kind of haven't really like settled into the race, right? It's a really good opportunity to just kind of get your race nerves out, right, and just kind of get yourself back into the race mentality.
It's definitely a nice warm up. It's just fun, like straightforward execution. You don't really have to worry about anything yet. You're just there to play fast and
yeah, exactly.
I think that's part of the appeal of casual boots, or like doing escape in general.
Yeah, it's definitely very stable, and it definitely reduces variance, right? You know, even in compared to, I would say, what one of the maybe initial set of like bread and butter open, you know, versus standard, right? Yeah, sure, you do maybe spend extra 5 minutes doing, you know, the front of escape and the back of escape and all that, but it certainly can reduce the variance of maybe you just, you know, one person never goes to Hyrule Castle, and then hey, look, there's Samaria and Uncle or something, and then suddenly, right, you have, you know, this gigantic gap. So it's certainly, I would say, probably much more like competitive mode in that sense.
Yeah,
both people have to do it for
basically,
sure.
Yeah, it basically removes an entire pendant dungeon. And when you essentially have the fourth pendant dungeon that is escape. Whereas, yeah, in standard you're just forced to go through it. And it just also gives you, well, not in this seed apparently, but often it gives you some starting items that you can base your routing around.
This is a very excellent point. I am watching that. Oh, okay. You know what? Maybe the fact that we do have a Master Sword coming out of escape, you know, Aga intensifies from Uncle, and not with a cape, but you know, it's getting there. But I was gonna say that Y item button, it is still very much transparent in that there are 0 items. We have no bombs or no boomerang, like nothing in order to help us do anything here.
Yeah. Also, did I just see thalane do a map check? Did he not do a map check?
Wait, did he not show you? Oh, you know, oh my gosh, maybe we should have been paying attention. I think I just kind of assumed that he was doing a map check because he always seemed to be doing a map check.
Yeah, exactly. I just didn't even bother to pay attention because that's just the thalane staple, you know?
Yeah, we might be getting a talking to afterwards for us. He probably, you know, for thalane, I will say, you know, typically speaking, I think he did actually do quite a few sacrifices, you know, for this restream. One, he actually made himself to get usable audio. 2, he turned down his double heart beeps, which was certainly quite jarring for maybe some restream situations. Really, you know, really wanted to make sure that the viewing experience was the best that he could possibly make it.
Yeah, I appreciate the sacrifice, especially with those double heart beeps. This stream is sometimes just unwatchable.
Yeah. Alright, well, I did see in this case we have a bunch of, blue stuff talking about blue. It almost kind of camouflaged into Lost Woods. We also do have a flute, so actually really good decision for people to end up coming here to Lost Woods, and then we don't have to avoid Kakariko. We can just basically go straight on ahead. Yeah,
looks like for once we will see thalane go straight to Kakariko instead of doing God knows what.
That is very true. Thalane is on record for saying that he sometimes maybe feels that casual boots, I won't necessarily say it's stale, but you know, again, it's kind of it's more of a routine type of first, let's say, 10-ish minutes, right? You go through Escape, you go through Lost Woods and Lumberjack, and then you go through Kakariko, and that's pretty much, you know, the first, you know, 10 to 12 minutes of the seed, right? Why not spice it up a bit? You know, especially maybe you trying to delay Kakariko to try and get a bottle or a flute. But in this case, we found the flute, so and we found a bow, perfect for, I would say, looks like Crystal Easter that JLo's already marked for us, and a book apparently. Oh well, we have suddenly a lot of stuff and a hammer.
A hammer? Hey, where's the book?
Oh, sorry, I saw it briefly on the tracker. I missed it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's okay. The SG tracker sometimes is always a bit more. It's a bit more cumbersome in some of its being usage. So. Yeah, we already certainly have a hammer, so that is, I don't know, 2.5 swords? Where would you rate that in terms of playableness? So we have, you know, just regular playable with boots and sword. We have ultra playable maybe with master sword. We have omega playable with tempered. But we have a hammer now, so like, what is between ultra and omega?
No, I think it's just still playable. Like,
okay, I got you.
There's no real distinction between fighter sword and master sword. Let's be real. It's just once you have tempered sword, that you know, becomes omega playable.
Yes, suddenly we have omega playableness with this almost seems like quick cross, right? We have tempered sword, not only just regular fighter sword. We've got boots and we've got a flute. We can pretty much go anywhere we want at this point.
Yeah, it's just extremely comfy.
Yeah.
Just need like a glove and a moon pill, and then you just, you know,
just rush Ganon. Like, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, essentially, you just go to Ganon.
Okay, perfect.
Might as well skip the rest.
Yeah, I'm just curious. So how many crystals do we need to open up Gaia's tower? Is it 0?
Maybe somebody will check. I don't know.
Oh, okay, that's true. That's true. You know, we can go in
There's
with
a
an
sign
unknown
there.
number. Yeah. Oh no, we don't read on this restream. We don't have a book, so clearly we cannot read highly. Apparently, but though that's only limited to the pedestal. We apparently can read all of the signs. You know, they're just scattered about, but we apparently can't read. We can't read anything in Lost Ones.
Yeah, the modern language in Hyrule is English. That's why we can read
English.
those. But yeah, but all those old stone slabs, those have Hylian. That's what you need the book for.
True.
Just the good old Hylian English dictionary. That's really what it is. I don't know why they call it Mudora. Maybe that's, you know, like the label. The Mudora English Hylian dictionary. So there was a bottle in the library, so I assume these guys might return to Sickit right away.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looking like, and or not
Okay,
for
thalane
the
is
lane.
not. Yeah, I mean, it's like you can flute that anytime, right? If you're fluting there, you can also flute that later, so might as well wait. And nice.
True, but yeah, we okay. Where did the fetch quest thing start right now? I guess jmeasher is not interested in checking the shovel, even though I believe it's probably still faster just to check the dig spot right after in Kakariko.
I don't know. It's like pretty far at that point.
Okay.
I would assume he's gonna try and wait for like Darkhold Access and Mirror and just do it with Stumpy. There's so much to check right now, so might as well delay it for a bit.
Okay, I think yeah, that's very fair. Just because the shovel is only in fact one check, and right now, as you mentioned, we have all of South Shore open to us. We don't actually have that much money. The typical type of thing is you like to go check Zora after maybe like Ice Rod Cave or Waterfall Ferry. Not sure if that's gonna happen, but we still have again lots of checks before in order to try and make up a little bit of cash. We have another bottle. Cool.
Yeah, and like with the flute, the Zora money isn't that much of a concern right now. Right now they could, for example, just go to Eastern and then flute to Ice Rod Cave at a later time.
That is a great point. I totally forgot about we have. I forgot about one of the primary goals of this game so far is to beat your crystal dungeons, because I wasn't actually quite sure how many crystals we actually needed to enter GT. But excellent reminder. We do certainly need at least one of them. For the record, it is 7. So yes, and the fact that we do have a bow at the lane, just casually saying hello to a crowd. No big deal with blue mail.
Yeah, blue mail and a million nuts already. There's absolutely no need to worry about health.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like they're still delaying Eastern. Okay, so
like,
thalane just likes to not water walk. That's reasonable. No Zora money. No, nothing that puts that stuff in logic, and
yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, that's actually a good point, right? Because typically we just kind of assume that we always just kind of tried. Zora is, I would say, considered most people probably consider to be like a Sphere 1 or Sphere 0 check, but it is actually glove or flippers locked, and we do not have either of those. It just happens to be, usually speaking, by this point you probably have at least one of those, right? So it always kind of becomes just like almost like an underlying assumption.
Yeah, or like even if you don't have it, it's probably just somewhere in Sphere 1, or like it's gonna come up very soon, because you almost always need a glove for Darkhold Access. So it's just always like a really early find.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but alright, so speaking of though, looks like jmeasher, he is also, speaking of putting things in logic, that is a pretty important old man rescue. He does give us a second piece of our Darkhold Access. So, I don't know, are you suspicious of Aga at all? We do have Temper Sword, we do have that lamp. We don't have a cape though, which is what Uncle said we needed to get into the barrier for, so...
Yeah, well now we have a hammer and a glove, so we're only Moonpearl away from Darkhold Access. So at this point, Aga is pretty unlikely, because essentially the only reason you do Aga at this point is Moonpearl on Pyramid. Which of course can happen, but it's just really unlikely. We still have, well, a few things, right? We have all of Eastern, we have Zora. jmeasher, he doesn't have the Moonpearl. I can respect just wanting to go to Port though. certainly, if you want to go somewhere, you should usually go to port. But unfortunately, we can't quite do that just yet.
Yeah, that's true. We, as you mentioned, we do actually have entry into Dark World, as in jmeasher just literally ran right past those hammer pegs. We can actually hammer down the pegs and lift the rock, but unfortunately, we cannot get out once we get into Dark World. We are so close, right, and yet so far away. If only this were cross keys, and we could, just find some connector over to the Dark World. But it is not. It is not entrance. We are just going to have to rely on our trusty map trackers.
Yeah, I wonder if he forgot about the moon pearl. Maybe he just like autopiloted. Like this sometimes happens to me too. Like I sometimes just like flew to 5 and then I just autopilot into the portal and then I realized, oh dang, I don't have the moon pearl.
It certainly does happen, especially when you probably end up playing this game, fairly frequently. Yeah, I can certainly see it happening. All right, thalane, by the way, also just found a lot of cash here in Eastern, so it certainly does make our money troubles a little bit. I mean, they did, in fact, for the record, probably did have enough stuff to scrounge together once they did get Dark World access for, let's say, Pod, maybe Chess Game, Dig Game. They probably can make do, but that 300 also really just solidifies things for them. And also, if they now, of course, they can also do Zora too, right, in Logic. Or at least pretty close to.
Yeah, and it's looking less and less likely that the pearl is in here. We found 2 items, right? The 300 and the shield?
Yes, correct.
The big key, apparently, because he's going to the big chest.
Perfect, see? Oh, look, what a nice process of elimination in that we already found all 3 items, and we don't actually have to go to the vanilla big key chest here in Eastern Palace. No gambling required, in this case, no risk. We just know that it's going to be either a map or compass.
Interesting that thalane doesn't go pick up money here. I guess for him, Zora isn't in Logic quite yet, but I don't know, it would just be on my mind, just being this close to Zora money. But yeah, looks like we're just going to the boss. Okay, yeah, jmeasher's also going to the boss.
Alright, yeah, it was really good on them from counting.
Yeah, jmeasher's also not picking up money. That's, in this case, it's even more surprising because he does have the glove, so... yeah, I would have expected him to try and get Zora money together. Although he hasn't done Saraswala yet, and I don't think he's done Ice Rock Cave, so he might just plan to lift up the rock and farm a bit of money there if he needs to. Okay, yeah, he is aware of it because he just went out of his way for this rupee, so...
Okay, so maybe he thinks that because he's maybe so close, he doesn't have to necessarily go too out of his way. He'll, surely we can find 23. This math is hard. 23 rupees somewhere right before we have to go hit Zora.
Yeah, that might be it. Okay, thalane's about to get his shovel. Then we'll see what jmeasher will do. I assume he's gonna do Ice Rock Cave.
Alright, so sorry about the technical difficulties for a sec. Yes, we're just resetting things, hopefully in order to sync up that audio again. Yeah, but I guess in this case, I would actually assume that jmeasher would probably just jmeasher and thalane would probably have 2 spots for each other. jmeasher actually has done the corners of South Shore, the cave. Maybe he'll also want to go over to Waterfall. I don't know if he's interested in going to Hobo. That is still out of Logic without the flippers, but it's also maybe one of those locations that, well, you may not necessarily want to ever go to. And this could be a good opportunity to go to. Do so if you don't have enough cash.
Oh, it's such a bad location. You should never go there, honestly.
Yeah. If only we had... Well, actually, I was going to say, so if we had Flute and Mirror, we can certainly take a little bit of a shortcut, right, from the Dark World into underneath the bridge. But at the same time, we have the Flute now, so I'm not really even sure when you actually still want to go over to that location, unless maybe you're going to get a Pyramid, and even then, it's not... I don't know, it's not very appealing.
Yeah, it's just a bad location. So, jmeasher? Oh, he saved the Water Walk, and he's gonna Water Walk out of Hobo.
Okay.
He is trusting to get 21 rupees somehow. He was right at the money rock, and he could have farmed Smoke Jr. for a bit. But...
I was actually just gonna ask you that. We were so close, and I guess you, in theory, can't. You have, I guess, 2 more checks after this, right? You have Waterfall Fairy for 2 checks, and then maybe we have enough to sequence break. Oh, but you know what? We'll just get bailed out here by 50 rupees. Yeah. Oh, the lane's also gonna get bailed out here too. Maybe he.
No,
looks like the lane.
Oh,
right. He already went to. He already went to Ice Rock Cave. So this is definitely just to make sure that he has enough money. Very, very prudent of him. Yeah, Biff, I don't think the lane is necessarily an accountant, but he's certainly very mindful of his resources. You know, always want to stay within budget.
Yeah. Now, what about Pod? Once we find the Pearl of Zora, then we just want to go to Pod, right? He should farm another 103 rupees.
Yes. The lane's favorite, quote unquote, rupee farming spot may or may not be the 1 rupee in blind set that he did 4 times to try and get bottle vendor money. However, I do not see him doing that for pod money. Maybe he can figure out something else to do for pod.
Is it the lane's favorite spot, or is it PMOS's the lane's favorite spot?
Well, I mean, he was the one who went back there 4 times. I mean, so who am I to argue about your results, you know? Oh wow. So it's not maybe quite Moon Pearl on Pyramid, but I think you definitely called it, right? Moon Pearl and Zora, and we're just gonna go, and now we're gonna go to Pod, and we're both now super poor. I'm both jmeasher and the lane side.
Yeah, surely Hypecave will bail us out, right? Someone will have a 300, then we can go to Pod.
Do you think so? If we can't get money, they don't even have money for Dick. So jmeasher has 29 rupees. You think he'll do Arrow Game?
Maybe if Hypecave has nothing.
I would be pretty excited.
Oh, it's Pendant Pod.
Oh, it's Pendant. Okay, we may not need the money. We do need 1 more rupee for chess game, though, if we can somehow scrounge that up together. I'm sensing maybe a visit to Blind's Hut. That would be pretty cool. But chances are he'll probably just get some other lucky drop, you know, from an enemy. Oh, wow. Almost, by the way. Almost getting that.
It looks like the lane is trying to garner favor with the commentators. Or at least one of them.
I do see this. Hype Cave is really actually paying out here for jmeasher. We found mids and hook shots. No flippers though, so we can't actually go into Swamp Palace quite yet. Of course, also no mirror. I very much approve though of this particular move with the lane. We did see that from the map check. It was another crystal, and we have everything, exactly everything we could possibly want in order to clear out this dungeon. Oh, talk about flippers.
Look at the flippers. Well, that's interesting.
It is.
It means the mirror isn't flippers locked. Because the book was in Waterfall.
Oh, that's actually great logical reminder. Thank you for... I can see your spirit tracker just like appearing in my mind.
I guess it doesn't matter too much because like the big place where a lot of flipper lock checks are is Swamp. And you need the mirror to get in there, of course. I guess we know that the mirror can be in ice, at least.
Oh yeah, true. That's always a good point as well. And we do see jmeasher, by the way, spending a little bit of extra time here, farming up a little bit of cash. Maybe not for pod money, but there is another mini game that we're just basically gonna, you know, it's almost like a carnival. You know, at this time of year, it's Christmas in August, right? In Dark World, we're just gonna go basically from, you know, one little shop, I guess, you know, to the next.
Also, are you saying that the Dark World is essentially Australia? Because they have Christmas in the summer?
Yes, it could be. Although Tam's not here, so they can't confirm for us.
Ah, dang.
I know, it's pretty disappointing.
Get Tam in here.
Alright, by the way, I'm also very happy that Desert Palace also not giving us any unnecessary items before we have to go. We did find the other items, which is 10 arrows, which in fact, even better because it guarantees you enough ammunition in this case. If you didn't already have enough for Limolis for another crystal boss here. So
you're actually making a pretty good point about the unnecessary items because we don't actually need either of the rods. Especially now that we have found bombos. Both Squirrels and Turtle Rock are pendants.
Oh, wow, Thank you, JLo, for also marking those on the tracker. I also definitely did not notice that. That's an excellent point. The only thing I did notice was Turtle Rock was a pendant. So the only thing I thought of at the time was, oh, we don't need Ice Rod. That's great, perfect. And I did not even think about Fire Rod. That makes the seed automatically now very, very interesting.
Yeah, it will definitely make the seed a lot faster. And there's also always the potential of having, you know, the exciting right side bomb jump and GT required.
Oh, yeah, for sure, right. So logically speaking, the Fire Rod could still be necessary if the big key to GT is on the right side, because no one is expecting you to do that side with the lamp. However, though, I'm pretty confident that thalane and jmeasher can probably make that. Thalane, such a good decision to come here. Beast Town and Dark World, I am so proud of him. This is peak routing. I so approve.
I feel the lanes so hard. Like sometimes you just, you know, do bow lambos for fun, and you don't use the tempered sword, but then you mess it up so much that you just lose all patience and you start using the sword. That's what the lane is going through right now.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I really much appreciate this routing decision of your Thalane, though. You got another crystal out of this. It is a very, very great decision. We'll just ignore the fact that on the flip side, for jmeasher's side, he has not only gold sword, but he also has silver. So I think he should be probably maybe a slightly bit more equipped versus Thalane when he eventually goes over to desert.
Oh yeah. Okay, with Thalane, yeah, it's going to Hype Cave now. That makes sense. I did tell Thalane to make it interesting, so I bet he went to desert
perfect. Good
just
job.
because you are on commentary before even trying to find any other items.
Good job. Good job. I approve Thalane. Thank you for helping out and facilitating this, Gem. I do appreciate that.
Okay, so Thalane is about to get his mids and hookshot here, and then we'll see where he goes next.
Yeah, so this also certainly looks quite good. Yeah, and this is also
I
pretty...
assume he also just goes. Yeah, I assume he also just goes towards Steve Stone. Not really much else you can do here. You can save and quit to the mountain, I guess, to Dark Death Mountain, but not really that appealing.
Yeah, so I guess though with the hammer and with the hook shot, though, now that in our possession, like, we can still get over to Hera too, right? It's just somewhat long.
Can.
Yeah, I don't actually know if people are interested in trying to wait out for that mirror, because, you know, we do see that Swamp is a crystal, so, and, well, I guess we don't necessarily need desert access anymore for the mirror, but we certainly do need it for at least one crystal dungeon. So, but then again, if the mirror is somewhere up in, let's say, Hera, you know, or let's say Ether Tablet or something like that, right, then you probably... Oh, the lane
really wants to go...
Yeah.
Oh, no, this makes sense. The reason he went right instead of left, I guess, is that he can't afford the game. Although he could have afforded the arrow game, but...
Maybe he wants to go to Blind's Hut first, you know, to farm Buddy. We are also, by the way, going over to a very, very isolated location for, in general.
Where's he going?
I don't know. I guess we're gonna... You think there's a sign that might tell us where we are? I know there is one. He reads it. Yeah, but he may not actually touch it.
Okay, nice scripted blind fight on jmeasher's side.
Yeah, certainly very well practiced. And yes, the gold sword actually does next to nothing compared to the tempered sword, as well as the silver, so Thalane won't have any issues, basically, as well. Oh, it looks like, though, Thalane did not end up picking up the 20 rupees, though, from Catfish. But he did pick up the one from Pyramid.
Yeah, I wonder why he did that, because... I don't know. I don't know why he wanted to get to 50 rupees, because 30 rupees is enough for chess game. And 50 rupees aren't quite enough for the in-game, but... Maybe he was concerned about the game, and now he just decided, I'll just go to the mountain instead. That's probably why.
Yeah, and I guess, like, with Skullwoods being a pendant, maybe he can also just, you know, take a quick entry into Village of Outcasts and just go south, right? Especially maybe we can also somewhat maybe route in the Smith Chain. I mean, it's not really appealing also without the mirror, but at least you have the flute, so there are still some pretty, you know, good routing choices here still for the lane.
Yeah, I think Mirror might be the main concern why he's on the mountain. You don't really need the mirror for the mountain, aside from Floating Island, but you at least see what items are on there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But if you have the mirror for the village, then you can just do the Smith, like clear thieves, then do the Smith chain, go south and combo it into Swamp. So it's definitely nicer to come to the mountain without the mirror than to come to the village.
Yeah, and so far we haven't really seen anything. Yes?
I guess there's like the small risk in coming to the mountain now, in that the mountain might just have nothing, so you waste the mountain trip. Like if you go to Thieves, you find your mirror there, and Bombos and Cross Between Hours there, and then you're only Kane away from Gomod, right? Am I seeing that right? Assuming Bombos is the Maya medallion.
Yes, right. We have no eyes on the Meyer area yet so far, so yeah, we don't know that particular medallion. But yes, we are suddenly very close to being able to be Go mode. So that Skullwoods and Turtle Rock are both pendants.
Yeah, that makes it kind of nice, low requirements. But yeah, Thalane's not getting punished for going to the mountain because literally everything wasn't in Thieves Town.
Yeah, that's true. We also he also probably doesn't really have much of a consequence to not to like stomp. Ooh, that was a really nice Harrow pot there on the lane side. Very, very well practiced. If only you can kind of do that for Specky Clip. I think we could. I don't know if I don't think that type of setup exists, but it would still be pretty cool.
I don't know if it would be possible with spin speed, but you can't get spin speed there. That's the main issue.
Oh, okay. I see.
So I assume nobody tried because you can't get it.
Alright, do you think Hera is going to be a good dungeon or a bad dungeon? We did find the small key and the big key, and we did find, I think, a map and 20 rupees.
Well, it's a good dungeon, because if there's something in the basement, it's garbage. That's how it always is.
Fair, so, I believe that. Mulder also being kind of a jerk to the lane, unfortunately. Also good job on jmeasher's side. These guys, I mean, again, they're just so experienced, well practiced. Sometimes I know that this tournament did go through a group stage, right? And you know, top 2 advanced for every quartet, I guess, of players. But still, you don't necessarily expect to see probably such hard-hitting matches, right? In like round 0, round 1, you know, in the first set, maybe in the second, you know, maybe the second or third. And this one certainly is quite the matchup between thalane and jmeasher. We're going back, Jen. Where are we going?
Thalane is wasting a good minute of his time here, and 2 fairies, 3 fairies.
Wait, we had 3 fairies? Oh my gosh, dude! Oh.
What a mistake.
Wow. Oh, talk about, I don't know, is this actually punishment or not? I mean, if the mirror is here, we might feel a bit silly, but, or, you know, maybe a little bit more bottles remorse, but I guess it'll be worth it, but still. Giving up 3 fairies, that is quite the sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, if the mirror's here, that's huge for Thalane. I wonder if jmeasher is gonna go in here. It seems like such a good skip. Because you have all of Dark Death Mountain, and you have, in Thalane's case, even like all of Thieves Town and the village.
Right.
Yeah, and then on Misha's side, you have Dark Death Mountain and Ice Palace. Well, he doesn't have the flippers yet, I guess. Maybe he's less inclined.
Oh, yeah, but we do have the book, so he can still go over the Desert Palace area. I guess we could also go do Meyer, too. Oh, you are absolutely correct about skipping out on Hera Basement, because you're absolutely right, there is never anything of use here.
Yeah, it's just never.
Anytime, by the way, I believe you for how successful you are in casual boots. I very much trust your ability to read things.
Yes, I've certainly never gotten burned.
Oh, of course not. No.
So always just believe me.
Well, we haven't been to pod yet, for the record, so.
Yeah, it's true. I think Kane and Mira are in pod, and the Maya medallion too.
And the Meyer medallion. Okay, everything is in pod. Just believe in pod.
Yeah, just like always. Yeah. Leave in pod and type podders in chat.
Yes.
Those are my 2 rules.
We need the emote. It's just so happy. And potters.
Far is good.
Alright, so we are actually making our way, I guess, like through the rest of the mountain. Outside, if we did find the 20 rupees, which was our boots replacement for the sea, it's not certainly logical in that you're not necessarily expected to say like, oh, okay, if I did start with the boots on my feet, then I would have gotten them paradox. They're just kind of randomly there, but it is kind of interesting to see that where the boots may or may not have been. Not the worst place to be. Unfortunately, thalane would really like to also have that mirror, by the way, in this particular case.
Yeah.
It is okay.
He screwed up a little there. Looks like TR's bombos, but yeah, we still need at least the cane to get in there, and would generally also need the fire rod to make anything happen.
That's true. That's true. We can actually. Oh, I guess in theory we can actually still get pretty far into the dungeon, but I guess more often than not you're just gonna get locked out of the first, chest or so. Assuming, as you said, we have the cane, right?
Yeah, usually you get locked out either in compass chest or if it is a small key, then chain jumps often don't have one. But yeah, sometimes it happens that the fire rod is like all the way on later. It can happen.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't really care about that because we don't need a fire rod seed.
Yes, exactly. We don't need something like this. Alright. Oh, by the way, yeah, so Thalane also just reminding us that jmeasher found earlier in Hookshaki, we also did find Ether, so it's another medallion potentially that we can cross off the list, I guess, for potential Mire entry. To be able to find, I guess, Quake, that would pretty much solidify any amount of entry going into the Mire area.
Yeah, but Maya is never Quake, right?
Yeah, of course not. No, of course not.
So we're good on medallions, let's just believe in that.
Yeah. Okay, so with this newly found mints, jmeasher very prudently remembering that King's Tomb is a thing. We still don't have the mirror, so maybe not necessarily a motivation, I guess, to wait for the mirror for Graveyard Ledge. Speaking of, we have a cape.
Is that supposed to be?
Well, we can go beat Aga. You're right. That is exactly where the cape is supposed to be, right? I totally forgot. You watch enough rando for enough time, and sometimes you just kind of forget where the items are initially. Maybe Thalane's gonna be doing something very similar here in order to pick up the cape as well.
So it's also just Bombo, so the mountain trip was completely worthless. Interesting.
Yeah, it is. Man, but it's not often that you actually get to see a whole mountain, right? Dark Death Mountain, Light World Death Mountain, Spiral Cave, like everything, right? We basically did not need anything out of there, right? It was like umpteen checks. Well, that's actually a really nice hook speed there on the lane side.
Well, for a second I thought that jmeasher was gonna go into my area because he switched to Bombos. But he's probably gonna do his crystal dungeons first that he can actually clear.
Oh, you mean like Ice Palace?
Maybe. Or desert, yeah.
Or desert, yeah. Desert's a good idea.
I'll say deserts first.
Yeah, but
yeah. So neither desert nor ice palace are logic, but finding the flippers here is actually gonna be really good knowledge for him. If he kept track of logic, because that'll let him know that at least the mirror can be nice. The cane can still be there, but the mirror won't be.
Yeah, and actually having, say, a fairly major item as your go mode, whether it's the mirror or maybe, well, Samari maybe isn't necessarily as good just because it doesn't, the only thing it kind of locks you out of is the Mire boss. But having mirror go mode actually would be pretty nice. That means basically you don't have to ever dip into swamp.
Yeah, for sure. And you don't have to go to all the out of the way mirror checks that you left behind because you didn't have it.
That's very true, yes. Yeah, Checkerboard Cave, Graveyard Ledge, these are locations that you never ever want to be in. Now, of course, the downside though with only having mirror go mode is we're kind of like we already saw that once on the lane side with Hera Basement, kind of already seeing it here in Skullwoods that we don't really have a convenient way to get out, especially, with the lane try to leave Hera Basement, right? What did he have? 3 fairies in a bottle that he had to give up, and red mail, and he has to basically try and catch some elevator rides away here in the Wallmaster.
Yeah, Skullwoods. Well, okay, Skullwoods, the dungeon itself is bad, but the nice thing about Skullwoods is if you are here without the mirror, there's these free mirrors that you can always catch as long as you're fast. True.
I do, by the way, I approve of you saying the good thing about Skullwoods, implying that there is only one good thing about Skullwoods, so I approve.
Yeah, of course. What else would there be about this dungeon?
Yeah.
A high pace, wow.
Yeah, I know. We're still waiting, by the way, for the value here in Skullwoods.
But yeah, as long as he doesn't kill. Okay, that was really close to killing the hand with the pot because he threw it up instead of to the right. But just barely managed to not kill it, so he got his free right out. And we actually saw both items, so we will not be coming back here unless it's last location pedestal.
Yeah, yeah. And right now we don't even have a convenient way to even figure out what on the pedestal is, or we don't have not that I think these guys want to go back in the dark world, so we don't really have a mirror in order to go read it, but also just even getting to the pedestal in the light world is still a good time commitment. So
yes. It's like almost a full minute or so.
Yeah. Some of these things are really surprising. Like, oh, I just want to know some stuff. Well, sure, you can know as much as you want. You know, a minute and a half, please, of your time in this race.
Yeah, but I doubt these guys are at all concerned about pedestal at the moment because we're still missing so many items to even be able to clear Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's very true, right? As you mentioned, we don't have the Canis Maria, we don't have the Fire Rod, and of course we don't have the Ice Rod. You really don't want to be on the Ice Rod hunt on a Pendant Turtle Rock seed. That would be, I would say, very sad.
So I wonder what these guys' next steps will be. We'll see it for jmeasher sooner than thalane's. Like, yes, will he go to ice? It's not in logic, but he can clear it for a crystal, and I mean it could still be like pretty good payoff. Like the cane could be there, and then he might go to into Maya with the cane and find his mirror there, and then he doesn't need to double tap anything, and then just gets like maximum reward.
I like how you're coming up with all these really nice scenarios for both Thalane and jmeasher, like single dipping dungeons, don't have to go independent ones, and then I see maybe our chat has a bit more of different ideas that they would maybe like for things to be.
Oh, you should never take chat seriously. They don't know what they're talking about.
Keep that in mind.
But you're also right that I'm probably too nice because, like, let's be real, it's just always pod. Things are just always in pod.
You had mentioned though before, we do have some still available crystal dungeons that dash on Thalane's side in order to get through that hallway.
Got picked up.
Yeah.
Alright,
so
jmeasher.
where are we?
It's pod. Okay.
Oh, amazing! Actually, I'm impressed. Surprised. I mean, I'm sure we'll go just find all the other things that we're missing, here in pod, because we all believe in pod. However, it is still very interesting, and we do have Ice Palace. That is a crystal dungeon. And I was actually going to ask you, like, would you go into Mire at any point without the cane, basically looking for it, or something else, right, like the mirror?
I think Canis Maya isn't the worst thing. I know you have all of pod to look into, but the thing with Maya is if the big key is late, then you barely lose time double dipping it. Well, it's like a minute, but it's like worse than full clearing pendant pot for nothing, right?
Oh, for sure.
And
especially
you already make progress towards your big key, which is nice.
Right. Yeah, and especially since one of the items that we are looking for is that mirror, if it doesn't show up here in pod, we saw kind of already Thalane experiencing the lack of mirror consequences. jmeasher is going to probably suffer something very similar. There are a lot of places in pod, especially like death warping is just very, very painful, especially at this point, right? He's got how many hearts? I can't even count that high. And also
it's more than 6.
Yes.
I played a lot of spoiler. I can't really count past 6 anymore.
Yeah, what is all this extra health? I mean, what is it, the second row of hearts already on jmeasher's side and Thalane? I don't even know what these guys are doing.
But yeah, like you said, being in pod without the mirror is actually quite punishing. We did get a key on the bridge here and in shooter rooms, so at least we can do everything in like one clean swoop, where you just go back to the big key chest and then go around the bow-locked side and just you just pick up every chest without really needing the mirror. But you do lose some time in shooter room, and you will lose some time later if you want to continue on to Hammer. Which this is the green pendant, so like even if he finds the 5 items, if there's nothing here, then jmeasher might just continue on to Hammer.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point as well. Typically, especially for pendant pod, even if there is one item left on the boss, you probably don't really get, because going to Helma itself, right, is another what, like 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes, something like that. And if you already found all 5 items, but the fact that there is still a green pendant, I don't know. It's definitely a decision point, right? I guess that you would be forced to make. I like how you said the lane, make things interesting. I wholeheartedly approve. I have not
that was
seen-
really interesting.
I've not seen these different chess game locations. He's just manipulating the RNG, you know?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just know the item's there, right?
Exactly.
It wasn't actually that one, it was the one above it.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for the lane.
So he did pick up on was. It looks like in this case he already did kind of the North Dark World stuff. I'm gonna assume that he did check the upper ledge when he was already in Skullwoods. I'm assuming it was nothing.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Yeah, so he's gonna just finish up the South route because he hadn't done Stumpy or Dig Game. I'm not. Unfortunately, we are still mirrorless on both thalane and jmeasher side, so thalane can't really take advantage of delaying Dark World, South Dark World, because he can't really check like 845, combine it with Smith Chain or anything like that. But he could still certainly take the Smith along with him, right? And then just immediately come back with that flute.
Yeah. jmeasher is routing this pretty nicely if he wants to go to Helma at the end. He already has the big key and he has a spare small key, so he hammer jumped to go through the dark maze, through the back, and then end outside of it, so he can just continue on and potentially just move on to Helma after checking everything on the right side back here.
Oh, this is actually really, really good. Yeah, as you mentioned, like not having the mirror and pod can actually be very punishing, right? Because there are multiple points that you basically just want to death warp, or not death warp, but you know, start at the beginning, right? Basically reset the dungeon. And jmeasher looks like he made it in a way such that he does not have to basically take those really costly death warps. Yeah, this is actually quite nice.
Awesome. Also nice small layout because there is an item, or at least a non-key in here in Helma's Highway, which makes it nicer to walk out, and it's okay.
It is the Canis Maria, so you are correct. Potter's is our answer, or at least is it one answer? It's probably not all of our answers so far, but it is a very good answer so far.
Plus is all of our answers because the cane will lead to the mirror in Maya.
Yeah, this certainly does give jmeasher a bit more direction to go, right? As you mentioned, the Canis Maria will definitely let you full clear out Mire. It will also let you get a faster clear for Ice Palace when we eventually go there.
Yes, and as long as you pay attention to the logic, he should know that the mirror can't be an ice, which means he can just go mode it at any time. Which I guess means he will probably leave it for later, just in case he finds the fire to speed up ice.
Oh, right. That's actually a very excellent point. Right, we sure only are on Bombos, even though we do have half magic and gold sword. That is not going to speed up any of the fire lock rooms, like the first one.
Exactly.
Yeah, it looks like the lane has opted to choose, in this case, a bit more of overworld clear over at least pendant dungeons. I don't actually know if we found anything so far. We are gonna opted also to not pick up the red boomerang, but I don't think Smith. I think Smith only had 10 arrows or something.
Yeah, nothing good on them.
Yeah, but I mean, and unfortunately, being still mirrorless, the purple chest turn-in can actually still be quite time investment. But if the mirror is here, it is well. Not only is it hard required, but it is absolutely necessary for you to basically make this time investment.
Yeah. thalane kinda needs this to pay off, honestly, because he's pretty far behind now with jmeasher pulling the cane out of pod, and it was nothing.
Oh, yeah, right. And thalane's already kind of made some initial investments in like Pendant Skull Woods, right? That also had nothing, and you know all this overworld stuff, and so so he definitely still has. I don't necessarily know if he has more checks over jmeasher, but he certainly has done stuff that jmeasher, chances are, won't necessarily do. Kind of maybe depending on where that mirror is.
Yeah.
Like,
and like any flippers check that thalane makes, like Hobo and Ice Palace, is a waste of time because we know the mirror can't be there.
Right.
Because the flippers are locked behind it. So this is gonna cost thalane even more time. He's doing Hobo here. I assume he's gonna do Ice next.
Well, he's gonna flute. Okay, that's true. He is fluting. And thalane is a very
Okay, very good.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, we are doing. Wait, we're gonna do the Meyer.
I guess Canis. I'm not sure he has been to Meyer yet.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
But knowing thalane, I assume he will go into Meyer after this. Which is if the mirror. I'm not sure it's. I mean, that's just never a good thing because we know where the cane is. But
yeah,
like if the mirror is here, he might start checking Swamp for the cane and Ice too.
Oh, that is very dangerous. Yeah, jmeasher's go mode at this point, right? As you said, is the mirror. This is a lot better go mode item than looking for the Canis Amaria, which again is I don't even know if it's a good reminder or not, but it is in Pendant Pod and Harmless Hellway, and not necessarily maybe high on some people's list, but the fact that the lane would just have so much open to him, right? Yeah. Crystal dungeons included that are potentially very long if you need to full clear them, that probably takes higher precedence than, you know, going into a pendant dungeon that may or may not even pay out.
Yeah. I think what thalane really wants right now is for the mirror to be on Helma, or the green pendant.
Oh,
or maybe pedestal too. Because
that's a good point.
That's like the only situation where I could see jmeasher going through all the stuff that thalane already did.
Yeah, that's also.
That wasn't worth anything.
Yeah, I think green pendant would also probably be something that could be quite nice. I mean, pedestal might seem just a little bit far out. Like we still don't have the fire out, we still don't have the ice tron, for Turtle Rock. So, the pedestal still seems like just a little bit farther out in terms of items.
Yeah,
but,
it seems unlikely. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you actually do make a very good point. And that green pendant helmet though, like by the 10th lane probably maybe gets there, he has much more incentive in order to clear out pod versus jmeasher. He just left right at the Kingdom Tomorrow, which is very, very reasonable, right? He found the cane. He could basically do like a ton more stuff at that point. There's no reason to spend an extra 2.5 minutes basically in pod for potentially nothing.
Yeah, but with thalane having already cleared out Meyer, aside from the boss, the cane just doesn't really unlock much. Oh, and the mirror's here. On the boss.
Oh my gosh! Oh wow! Well, so that's go mode for jmeasher, right? At 51 minutes.
Yep.
Amazing! Oh, wow! So you just have to again. I guess you were you're out of the money. Just go to pod, right? Believe in pod. That's.
It's always potters. Every seed has potters.
Yeah, that's a very actually sudden go mode. And yeah, so right, we're just gonna assume the fact that jmeasher is still capable of sequence breaking out the right side of GT, just in case that Fire Rod is actually needed to get the GT big key. But he has the lamp, so I'm gonna assume that he probably has played enough rando at this point to figure out a way over there.
Yeah, I assume so. We might see him open up a few chests here and Ice Palace down the way, just in case the Fire Rod is there. Because like even if he can do like the right side home jump and like the lamp strats for the right side in GT, it's just way faster still with the Fire Rod.
Yeah, that's also a really good point. And being of course for the gauntlet as well, where you have half magic, and I've certainly seen a lot of people just kind of spam that Fire Rod that try and get through things a bit faster. Yeah, and torches also, just even like little minor things, right, with the Fire Rod that can also speed things up a bit.
Yeah, actually, it's still just a nice speed up. So he seems confident enough in his being able to clear out GT without the Fire Rod that he is at least skipping the longer checks nice with like Compass Chest.
Okay.
But yeah, I assume he will at least open up the big key chest and the spike chest.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, even in go mode for Ice Palace, like, you would not try and open the compass chest, like the very first one, in order to try and maybe find the big key? Like, you basically just always hit the switch, correct? Or would you try and find a big key and a small key? Okay.
No, so big key and small key and not hitting the switch save you like 5 seconds, but clearing out the compass room is probably close enough to 5 seconds that it's just not worth it.
Oh, that's also true too. You do have to also kill all the pen gators, and I guess maybe it depends on, like, even if you are, I think, even like the fastest possible, even with like the hook shot or with like the Taj pen gator setup for bombs, probably just doesn't make it worth it. Oh, but the lane is he's going to pod. That's a really good decision. Yeah,
he'll get us go mode soon. So he knows there's one item on Virtuous, but he has little enough open from here that maybe we will see him kill Hammer.
Yeah, that's actually a good point too, right? Because unlike jmeasher, I mean, jmeasher is obviously still very much in go mode right now, so he won't be doing a lot of stuff that thalane's already done. But thalane's already done a lot of the overworld, of the other pendant dungeons. So yeah, as you said, there's the only thing that the Cane of Samari kind of really opens up for him is probably just the Meyer boss at that point.
Yeah, Meyer boss and one chest in Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
Which might just be a key, so it's hard to even count that.
Yeah, and it seems also pretty unlikely. Like, do you want to go into Meyer to go get a crystal and potentially the last of your item, or do you want to basically make an entire mountain trip as an investment just to potentially get one thing, right? And yeah, it seems kind of not good. Oh, we got a nice free safety on Coldster as well.
Yeah, I'm sure jmeasher is really happy about finding this powder with his 3 fairies in a bottle. I think he really thinks he needs this powder. But yeah, to Swamp Palace. I was about to say GT. Oh, thalane. nice attempt. It's gonna try again. Going for the Port Harbor. Nice attempt. Always happy to see this attempted. It's a really cool thing to pull off.
Yeah, it's always really good to see some boots tech here on thalane's side. I don't know if basically he has a, I guess, like a reputation per se, but he's certainly still very talented.
Yeah, he definitely can do the hovers that really matter. Like obviously Moldom 2, we've seen him hover Hookshot Cave. The Port Harbor is just really difficult, since you need to change your direction and you need to be pixel perfect on the X coordinate. But yeah, Lane's just further on his way to the cane in the back of Pod. Maybe he will not do the hammer to get to the cane sooner, but I assume he will still clear out Pod just in case the mirror is here.
Yeah. Yeah, and given, I guess, like, where the King of Samaria was kind of in Pod, it is... Oh, well. I mean, I guess it's kind of like at the tail end of your route, or your searching route. Yeah, so maybe thalane at this point is... he's more willing, I guess, to make the dungeon clear investment.
I see. Okay.
Oh, interesting! Oh, well, we're getting some real fancy tech here on the lane side. Really, that bomb jump, I think, is actually really cool.
DLC
nice
content, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, that looks like he's also doing the hammer. Okay, good. I was a bit worried. That bomb was really far right, but it was still fine. You can put the bomb too far right and then the bomb jump doesn't work, but I was just barely fine still. Okay, jmeasher is opening up the chests in the back here that are pretty much free. Again, just trying to find the fire rod in case it's on the way. If not, then no big deal. Didn't lose too much time trying to look for it. Okay. thalane is choosing to go to the back basement first, which makes sense. Well, it makes double sense as considering he didn't have a single key to open a Poundless Highway with. But even if he had one, then it just makes sense to go to the basement first to figure out if Poundless Highway is forced to have a key or not. In this case, all the 2 remaining keys were down there, so
yeah, that's true.
That's why he went there.
Yeah, it looks like so thalane also did. He picked up the King of Samaria, immediately left, not even any hesitation. I'm gonna see.
Yeah, he might not feel that good about himself, so he might just think, okay, I'll clear Witty, and if it's not there, then I'll just place all my bets on Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and that's very reasonable, right? Because at this point we don't have very much left basically on the lane side. He's already checked even like a ton of even out of the way locations, right? Catfish, I guess none of the mirror lock spots because we obviously don't have the mirror, but mirrorless Smith Chain, Pendant Skull Woods. I'm not even sure what else is left available to him at this point. I guess maybe outside like Ice Palace.
Yeah, but Ice, like he knows that the mirror can't be there. Otherwise, he would have been there a long time ago. So definitely doesn't care about Ice either. Yeah, on jmeasher's side, we have all 7 crystals now, so we're going to GT. Exciting stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see if the game is, or like GT is gonna be cool and have the Biggie on the right side without Fire Rod on the left side, or maybe it just is lame by either just giving you the Biggie or just giving you the Fire Rod. We'll find out.
Yeah, so actually in this case, like, would you change your GT routing? Like in this case, like we don't have the Fire Rod, so presumably it still could be in logic, but like, would you like if you are a left side Stalfos room first kind of guy, like or person, like would you maybe go to Hope room first?
I think without the Fire Rod, you just do Hope room into left side, because like even if you can do bomb jump quickly, it still takes quite a lot of time. So it's better to just try to avoid it as much as possible. You might also just find the Fire Rod in GT looking for the big key, which will significantly speed up the right side. And who knows, maybe you'll find the small key and the Fire Rod in Hope room, and then you can just go straight to Compass Chest. That's a small key. So close.
Oh man.
The wrong rod.
Nice ice rod, by the way, here in GT for Pendant to the Rock.
Aww. Almost very funny, but just a little funny. Alright, so far nothing too interesting. The unfortunate thing about Hope room to left side is you have to kill the Stalfos. Nothing in map chest, so now we're moving onto Fire Snake and then Render Room. Yeah, jmeasher is electing to do the Cane strat. He just skipped that key.
Wait, did he pick up an extra one? Does he not need a key? I think you're right though.
Well, depending on where the other keys in the chest are, he might not need it, but that's certainly a decision.
Maybe I don't know, maybe it was just an oversight. Yes, I definitely did not expect him to be skipping any pot keys here.
Yeah, like he was right next to it, which is which I wonder why he skipped that key. He will be fine because he found that key in Fire Snake. So even if he needs to go to the right side, he will just have to pick up the conveyor stuff with spot key after Compass Room, which will give him the key he needs for the climb.
Okay.
So it's fine, but
it is very interesting, right? Because it sounds like it was kind of an unnecessary risk, right? That's the
like the small key that he found in Fire Snake could have been in Tile Room, for example, and then he might have put himself in a situation where he would have to do Tile Room for a small key.
Yeah, alright, we are only a handful of checks away actually on jmeasher's side to see in this case where that GC big key is. I mean, it's looking pretty promising, or hopefully. You got some hopium going on.
I would love to see right side required. But yeah, there's 3 chests here. If they aren't the big key, he might do Tile Room first. I don't know.
What would you do in this situation,
first?
Jem? Would you do tower room first, or would you just do the bomb jump?
Okay, it's just here, I think.
Oh, is a big.
Yeah, because it's more key.
Does the Logitech still do work the same way here? Because I know that if there's a small key in like compass room or rando room, the big key is there. It's the same thing behind ice marbles.
Actually, I think it's not true. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I don't think it necessarily needs to be that way. I think I've seen just a small key in there because.
Okay, I guess I
think
didn't
the
know.
key could be on like compass room or something. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure how that works. But I've definitely seen a small key there without the big key. But yeah, anyway, the game is in fact lame, and there was no big key on the right side.
That is true, but I guess at least it's kind of interesting in that we don't have a fire rod. I don't know if jmeasher is still interested in trying to maybe find a fire rod in Albert GT. Like maybe at that point though, it's probably just a waste of time. Even though I think it'd be kind of interesting to see if it's actually up there, or if this is actually truly in fact like a fire rod. Let's see, or maybe it's like sitting in Turtle Rock or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you see what happened to thalane?
You mean so?
Because I just saw him go through Spike Room a second time. Did he not press the switch?
So right. I didn't actually see that part. The only thing that I caught was thalane already having a small key when he was in the Bari room, like the second one, and all three of the Baris were alive. So something must have happened in that he had to do Ice Palace again. My guess is probably he didn't hit the switch.
Oh no. Well. The upside is it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that is true. At this point, I think unless something catastrophically happens to jmeasher at this point, which, I mean, no one ever wants to have anything bad befallen on any of these runners, but at this point, I think for thalane to potentially have a chance to, I guess, like take a game 2 victory, something terrible does need to happen to jmeasher. Otherwise, though, we are. Like
3, 4, 5 times on Ganon or something, so which I doubt that's gonna happen.
I mean, well, technically, I guess like with Gold Sword, Gold Sword and even Silvers do not prevent any Ganon falls. Like I mean, those fire bats, like while they may not do as much damage, they can still push you off the ledge. But yes, I certainly don't really foresee, especially on this kind of equipment, for jmeasher to have really anything major happen to him.
Yeah. He can't even die with his 3 fairies, really, so it really would have to be.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I really did forget because he has. Yeah, that's right. He has 3 fairies counter to thalane's 0 because he did not choose to Hera basement. Yeah, that was. We're even gonna get a free health refill here on right before Aga 2. I mean, at this point, I think jmeasher he's almost like a fortress. You know, he has full health going in with sword beams, gold sword, blah blah blah, and then he also has 3 fairies in his back pocket. Look at that, Moldor like doesn't even. Yeah. Moldor didn't even like do any real damage.
Yeah, all it did was be helpful and get rid of the sword beams. That's like really kind of Moldor. Thank you. But yeah, Aga 2 coming up. We'll see if the pattern is terrible or only bad. That's actually a pretty nice pattern.
Oh no. Thalane is trying to do Specky Clip, which is 100% allowed in this case. Maybe, but I definitely gets it through the second time. I'm just really happy to see basically people taking advantage of these little nice time savers, right? I think Aries said 22 seconds time save by basically not having to drain the water. That is really, really nice.
Yeah, happy to see Thalane finally do it. There may have been a couple races where he, maybe he had been too lazy to learn it, but...
it is any amount of improvement. Yeah, I do believe that this was a maybe more recent development on Thalane's side, is to be able to Specky Clip, because I don't think it was present in the first, as you said, couple races. But yeah, really cool to see, some new tech being involved. It is really amazing to me, by the way. Like, this game is based on the original, Super Nintendo game that is many years old at this point, and yet people are still able to find these like little time saves, or this tech, right? That you play the game so long, and surely you're just like, well, someone has to have discovered this before, right? No, you see all these little new options come up every once in a while. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's great because there's. Like you play this game for years, and then every so often there's just like this, little speck of excitement.
I see what you did there.
Yes, that was completely intentional.
Alright, jmeasher though, he's basically just wrapping up what looks to be somewhat routine Ganon fight. We got gold sword, we got silvers. We found them in Thieves Town. He just has to basically not fall. He's looking to set up a double, probably. Even gets torch glitch,
Yeah, actually kind of helpful in this.
Oh no!
No.
Okay, it's definitely not the routine that we were looking for. It could be some people's routine. I don't think it's within jmeasher's routine. I hope he doesn't get tilted from this though, because in a random race you don't really know where your opponent is. I guess I don't know how he would necessarily feel. Like, he did go to pod at a pretty good time, like on the earlier side and found his Kina Samaria, so maybe he still feels good about that. But you never feel good about being able to fall upon Ganon.
The thing is, even if your route was good, like, you come always up with at least 5 ways in which your opponent could have routed even better. So there's always this uncertainty, even if you feel good about your route.
Actually, I think very, very reasonable. And yeah, and for better or for worse, maybe on the worst side, you have like the whole of GT climb, right, or whatever your go mode is, basically to think about. Well, my opponent could have done something different and beat me to the punch for XYZ items. It's a really great feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, surely this time is gonna go way better than the first time.
Yeah. Or maybe, it was just one of the first of the 6 or 7 Ganon falls that they need to win. You never know.
Okay, it's, oh my gosh, jmeasher. Alright, you got a triple? Alright, that was quite tight, and doesn't even need torch split.
Playing it safe.
Oh my god, I can't watch. Oh, okay. This is, I think it's probably one of the most dangerous Space Wars I've seen in quite some time. But you know what? Get your GGs in chat for jmeasher, because whatever he did, it worked. And he is going to force a game 3 between himself and thalane. Holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah, finishing right as thalane is opening up GT.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Man, what an ending for jmeasher.
Yeah, made it exciting right at the end again. So as the viewer, I'm happy. Thank you, jmeasher. Alright, looks like thalane is intending to finish out the seed.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what thalane's propensity is in this case for, like, I don't know if he trusts a race room or if he does anything like that. I mean, I'll regardless, it is certainly within his right to basically finish up the seed because he is still racing. Looks like that we are joined here by today's victor on extremely tight phase 4 Ganon, jmeasher. GG's.
Yeah, that's one way to describe it. GG's.
GG's, jmeasher.
Yeah. So I guess, like, how did you feel about? Oh, I guess, like, so did you feel good? I guess, like, when you found the cane in pod, like, or did you feel maybe not as comfortable? Like, I guess, like, depending on maybe when you decided to end up going to pod.
I mean, pretty good, because I don't think to that point I had done a lot of extraneous stuff. Like, think that if I'm correct, that was right after I did desert. So I was mostly in crystal dungeons to that point, and the flippers being in desert really, like, got my mind spinning back up. I was kind of, like, mid-seed, you're kind of settling into a flow, right? Not necessarily thinking too much about routing. but those flippers being in desert really were like, oh, okay, we need to turn the brain back on a little bit here.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting, right? Because it told you that the mirror couldn't be an ice palace, so there was no reason to go there.
Yeah, and 1 item away from, or 2 items away from go mode, but knowing that one of them couldn't be an ice, it was a pretty safe bet that was going to be go modable. So, like at that point, I was like, okay, let's just kind of take stock, because means mirror has to be somewhere relatively accessible, or something has to be relatively accessible, like Kane or something. And I kind of just looked at my options and was like, there's not a lot of great ones. I could go into ice and maybe Kane is there, but that never feels good since you can't do icebreaker. And I was kind of like, well, let's 6 items from pod. Felt like the best of a lot of mediocre choices at that point in the seed.
Yeah, and it definitely paid off. So
yeah, and I mean, when I found it, obviously, like last check before the boss and pod, I was like, okay. I was getting real nervous there for a second. And then, yeah, I think from then on, obviously, like the mirror being on Vidi was really good for me. Even with that Ganon fall, I was feeling pretty good. I was like, if thalane has somehow out-routed me on this seed, then he absolutely deserves to move ahead.
Yeah, speaking of thalane, though, definitely get your GG's out in thalane. Looks like he did end up seeing the race room result, and he just put in a forfeit. So hopefully we can get at least maybe chat with him a little bit. Yeah, but in terms of your routing though, jmeasher, it looked quite good. Yeah, and as you said, you definitely went to pod on the earlier side, and you didn't actually clear out really much extra, like in terms of non-essential stuff, right? You still did your crystals, but still you found the Canis Mario quite nicely. But kind of like in contrast, I guess, to what thalane had done, he went to like Pendant Skull Woods. He did Mirrorless Smith Chain. That was a bit more unfortunate. But yeah, these were all things that you basically obviously did not have to do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of tough choices there. Like I was saying, once desert was clear and I knew that mirror couldn't be an ice, I was like, man, am I going mirrorless Smith Chain? Am I doing? I mean, that there was a thought to starting there and kind of routing through, like, because I got that cape right after doing all the Village of Outcast stuff. So I was like, do I start there, go like Skull Woods to check, and then check Bumper to Catfish or something like that? Yeah, really easy to put off pod for a long time, especially with it being a pendant.
Yeah, but otherwise, I mean, maybe outside of that really tense Ganon phase 4, yeah, it looks like things went really smoothly for you for the seed.
That was just me being greedy. I'm like looking at the time. I'm like, I could sub 10 this thing, like, or sub 110. Like it'd be a really great time. And I obviously feeling like I felt pretty confident that that I had a lead of some kind. So I was like, let's just be really silly and go on the 1 tile gap to try and get a double hit on Ganon here, so I don't have to get my lamp back out. It's really dumb. There was no need to do that. But yeah, overall, like the only other thing was a fire rod. I don't know, did thalane end up finding that?
Nope.
We did not see him pick it up. Nope.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was the other thing I was sweating going through GT. Not that I can't do the right side of fire rodless. I just don't like to. It's pretty terrible as far as tricks go. So that was the only other thing I was sweating. Potentially, like if the lane was right behind me, could end up costing me a little bit. But other than that, it was pretty straightforward to see.
Oh, by the way, did you intentionally skip the one pot key in GT? The one in the double switch room?
Which one?
The one after the map chest in GT, when you go south and you have to hit the switches, and there's the pod key at the bottom. Right before the walk to Fire Snake Room.
Oh, no, that was not intentional. In fact, yeah. No, I'm so used to doing that room with boomerang and hook shot. So I guess I just was so focused on, you do the room a different way from what you do like 99% of the time. Sometimes mistakes like that happen.
Yeah, I get you.
Thankfully, it didn't end up hurting me at all. But yeah, no, that was just me completely blanking on it.
Yeah, I was wondering because you were right next to a pod, and I was like, he didn't pick that up, did he? I wonder why. But yeah, that definitely explains it.
Total brain fart, like fluting to 5 and just mindlessly going into the dark world when I was trying to go to Eastern.
We just kind of assumed that you maybe already thought you had the pearl or something in your, as like in your back pocket, and
that was just pure like, just what's it called? Muscle memory. Like 90% of the time I'm going there, I'm going there to mirror over. So I just like as soon as I stepped on the warp pad, I was like, wait, what am I doing? Hello? But yeah, I feel like other than that, played really well. So
no, I mean it definitely shows. I mean you definitely had really nice equipment throughout almost the entirety of the seed. You got you got tempered sword within 10 minutes or something like that. Gold sword basically right after you got to Dark World, and you got silvers. Like things seemed very comfortable for you. You also, yes, according to the tracker, you have 3 fairies in a bottle. Oh yeah, that was one thing that also was a bit different between yourself and thalane. So after you did Hera, you just opted to not do the basement, right? Yep. I mean, whatever decided to influence you, that's all great. But thalane decided to do that, and he also had no mirror, right? So he let go of all 3 of his fairies. Deathward Vow with Red Mail, and you got to keep all 3 of them. So
that is partly why I didn't do it, because and obviously our first race wasn't restreamed, but Fire Rod was actually in Hera basement in race 1, which I hard last locations. You guess why I lost. But I was going through Hera, and that was in my mind. I was like, should I just do it, just in case something silly happens? And I was like, wait, I have no mirror. I also have 3 fairies. Like, I don't want to have to get out of Hera basements like that. So it's also kind of one of those things where it's just like, come on, twice in a row, really? Something's gonna be down there. So I mean, he checked it last time, so I think we both were consistent in what our choices were in these 2 races.
Well, okay. Looking forward to see what you guys may or may not do in Game 3. I'm not sure if I quite saw that on the schedule, but I guess we'll figure it out. I guess unless you guys already have something.
No, not yet. We got to discuss it and figure it out. I don't know potential for this Sunday, but I think we've got a little bit more time than that, so might be next week. We'll have to get together and figure it out.
Oh, because you guys weren't you guys are still technically like around. Well, maybe you're like around 2 or something, right? But it's like you're not in like the very first set of matches, right?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, all right, yeah. So then definitely, just no rush. Take you guys your time, and I mean, I for one at least will be looking forward to Game 3. So.
Well, me too.
Yeah. So definitely best of luck moving forward. Through all your future races, basically, and you don't last location anything. Yeah, this one seemed pretty good. All things considered.
Yeah, better than last time for sure. But I'll just say thank you guys for the restream, for casting, tracking, all that. Always appreciative to get put onto one of the SpeedGaming channels. Thank you guys.
No, thank you so much for racing. I think it was a really fun race to be able to watch, and also nice and short. Always appreciative of that. To be able to
always a plus, yeah.
Yeah. I also want to thank so much for our tracker today, JLo. He has marked everything and anything. I've very, very quickly got all the prizes for all the crystals, all of the items. So thank you so much. Really, basically, it helped at least me a ton, basically, to try and figure out what basically was still left of the seed. So thank you so much, Jem. Always a pleasure. Was a ton of fun. Looking forward to the next time.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for being an awesome co-commentator. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, also thanks JLo for the tracking. Thanks to the runners for the great race. And thanks to SpeedGaming for putting all of this on.
Yeah, so in terms of just on the schedule, it looks like there is one restream match on SG3 later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, Scupula versus In the Name of DT. And I'm not sure actually who the crew is, but it looks like it's going to get a channel. And then at least tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. On SpeedGaming is Lana versus Pyloman. And I think also you're racing tomorrow too, right, John? Is that right?
Yes, that's true. I'm racing Doomtap tomorrow.
Yes, that's true. Okay, well, so hopefully, we're hopefully gonna be able to get a channel for the doubleheader starting at 1 p.m. But yes, best of luck to you, of course, for that race. Doomtap's kind of a scary opponent, honestly. Also another one of these, just like jmeasher versus thalane, not maybe something you want to see kind of like in the round one. Doomtap versus Jem. Well, it's gonna be, it's gonna be a really great match. But I look forward to it. At least it's not MG, right?
Yeah, that's a plus.
Yeah. So definitely a lot of great random to look forward to for the rest of the weekend. But until then, just have a rest of a great starting weekend for everyone out there for a great Friday afternoon or Friday evening. See ya.